23 to order. If we all can rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Nicole, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Altman,
Present.
Youth Commissioner Lindsay,
Present.
Commissioner Goff,
Present.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Present.
Vice Chair Cruz is absent, Chair Malari.
Present. All right, I will go ahead and open up public comment. So this time is reserved for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on items of interest that are not on the agenda and are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. It is recommended that speakers limit their comments to 3 minutes and is requested that no comments be made during this period of time on the items on the agenda. Nicole, I'll go ahead and open up public comment. Do we have anyone on Zoom?
We do not have anyone on Zoom. Is there anyone present that would like to make public comment on non-agendized items?
All right, I'll turn it over into the room. Anyone have any public comment?
There appears to be no public comment.
Great, thank you. I'll go ahead and close public comment. Director Cooper, how are we looking on the agenda changes today?
Oh, thank you, Chair Malari. We have no changes for the agenda tonight.
Fantabulous. All right, walking us down to the consent calendar. Looking for a motion, commissioners, for recommendation on approving our minutes from October 26, 2023.
I move to approve the minutes from October 26, 2023.
I second.
Ms. Nicole, roll call, please.
Yes. Commissioner Altman?
I'm going to abstain as I wasn't present.
Okay. Commissioner Goff?
Aye.
Commissioner Mohammed?
Aye.
Vice Chair Cruz is absent, Chair Malari.
Aye. Thank you. All right, now this is an opportunity for our public hearings. The first one that we have, and the only one on the agenda, is the Paintball Jungle Conditional Use Permit. Mr. Yee, the floor is yours.
Oh,
All good? Okay. Very happy to be here today to give a presentation on the Paintball Jungle Conditional Use Permit. So I want to start with the site overall. It's a very large site, but the project area is not as big as the entire parcel. So the site is at 2 Eucalyptus Drive and is shown here in the yellow, which is a 40-acre site. The paintball jungle lease area is actually approximately 13.5 acres, and that's showing more in the orange area. So it's about a third of the overall parcel. And then even smaller than the lease area is the project area, which is where most of the improvements or several of the improvements will go. And that's also the entry area with the parking lot. So to the north of the site is a wine warehouse, and to the west of the site are the SDG wine warehouses. To the east is a vacant parcel, and directly to the south is the Napa Junction Elementary School. So here's a bit of the project description. So it is in the Recreation and Open Space Zoning District, REC, in which outdoor recreation is permitted through a conditional use permit. It is 14 acres, leased area within the 40-acre parcel size. The site includes an office, a picnic table area, some fencing, and then within the game, the court areas, there's human-scale obstacles and barricades. And of course, there's a parking lot for 41 vehicles. The site actually has no utility connections. So there's no water or electrical connection to the site. And electricity is run off a portable generator in which only during the weekends when they're there. Business hours is 8:30 to 4 on the weekends. However, they do have special appointments for weekdays. Daily attendance is from 40 to 50 players with a peak attendance of 125. This project, just a brief history about it, is this project was actually had entitlements previously when the site was under Napa County. And so, but those entitlements have expired, and we've since annexed the property, and so now we want to kind of like get them full speed in under American Canyon's entitlements. So here's the part of the project site area. So this is within the 13-acre or 14-acre lease area and within the 40-acre parcel. This area contains, to the south is the parking lot with the vehicle entry on the southwest corner. And then there is a kind of like a check-in office north of the parking lot. And then there is I guess it's kind of like a targeting site to the north here, and also a small shed for players to clean their paintball guns and gear. So the site is proposed with 41 parking spaces, and there will be 2 portable restrooms and ADA parking. Here's a photo of the site. This is the check-in area that I mentioned. This is it's totally outdoors. This office has been there for a very long time, and yeah, that's where you start with when players come in for their paintball games. Here's a second photo that we took in February when we had a site visit, field trip with the business owner. This is actually a scene from the game court. So it's all outdoors. There's, I think these are eucalyptus trees. Yeah, and then these are some of the obstacles that enhances the game, so that players can duck behind and maneuver around. So this game court area is approximately 11.5 acres. So it's a really big outdoor area. So that's the project in a nutshell. I do want to go over some of the site-specific issues. I want to talk about the access road to the site, some fire precautions. We had some concerns from NVUSD that was resolved. And we had some concerns over noise and an additional condition for bicycle parking. So first is the access, because when we reviewed the project, I think there were some concerns about where the entry is, and also how do people get to the site. So this is the site over here where my arrow is pointing, and the entry is at the southwest corner, which is only accessible from Wetlands Edge Court by car. So if you're coming from Commerce Court, yeah, it's not possible, because Commerce Court will not connect to Wetlands Edge Court. And however, you can get there by bike. So there is a Class 1 bike trail that's completed in Eucalyptus Drive, and then there's a Class 1 bike trail that's completed right to the east of the new SDG. Well, it's not that new anymore, the SDG 330 project. that is right next to the paintball jungle. There will be a future Class 1 trail that connects the eucalyptus end to the end where the STG warehouse is, which is scheduled to be completed maybe like summer of next year, so that we can have that whole stretch of bike. And then that bike trail actually gets pretty far north as well. So just wanted to clarify that, you cannot come down here from Commerce Court. All the traffic is from Wetlands Edge. Fire precautions, we did review this with the fire chief and also the police department. According to the applicant, players receive a safety video with house rules at the beginning of each session. The game courts are all played outdoors. There's no smoking and eating during playing. And it's actually very difficult to even try that because players are wearing goggles and masks when they play. So also there are referees during the play. So so smoking is not permitted anywhere on site. So no alcohol, drugs, or smoking. Shooting outside the game courts is not permitted, so they're only allowed to use their paintball guns in the game courts. And violation of the rules is subject to termination of the game and possible ejection. The applicant, after the fire chief reviewed this, it's recommended that the applicant provide 4 additional fire extinguishers, and this is part of a condition of approval. And we did share this project in the plans with the police department, and the police chief on 2 occasions said that they had no concerns. So the next site-specific issue is the Napa Valley Unified School District. So when we had the public outreach period, a member of the NVUSD expressed concern over basically errant paintballs that might fall onto the site. They're neighbors, so it's right directly south of the site. So the applicant and NVUSD met several times and corresponded many times over phone and email. And the applicant agreed to construct a taller barrier along the south side of the property to prevent any of the paintballs that might fall on the school site. And this is an agreed location, and the height of the barrier has been agreed upon by NVUSD. And so they actually already constructed this additional netting, which is approximately 12 foot tall. It's kind of like a golf net, make sure that there's no additional or paintballs shot through. And lastly, the applicant agreed to install signs and also caution their players about just it's not permitted for them to shoot towards the southern side. So that issue has been resolved. I want to speak a little bit about amplified sounds. This was this began when we received comments about it yesterday. But we reviewed what's permitted and what's not permitted for amplified sound. So amplified sound is not prohibited in accordance to the noise ordinance. So you can have amplified sounds, it's just the level of the sounds and how frequent it is. So according to the noise ordinance in the Municipal Code, Chapter 8.12, noise near single-family homes cannot exceed 60 dBA from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So I'm not going to talk about the nighttime hours because they don't have any nighttime games, and there's no multifamily projects or developments near there. So we're just going to speak about single-family. So according to our records, there has never been a noise complaint at for the paintball jungle. And the applicant reports that what they have is they do have amplified sound, and it's a small speaker that's attached to the shack and services area. It does not exceed 80 decibels, but they only use it to make public announcements about 3 to 4 sentences an hour. Some of the examples are like, come on down for the morning orientation, or this is the final call for the game. So, they do have amplified sound, but it's going to be pretty far from the nearest residence because the school is between the nearest residence and the site. The nearest residential use is about approximately 850 feet from the site, and as we all know, like sound gets less noisy as it gets away from the site. So according to the applicant, there are no amplified speakers used for the playing fields. It's just for that shack area. So, and the applicant is here, so he can give you some more information on that. And so that goes to my last issue that we kind of missed during the staff report. So we're going to have to request the Planning Commission, if they choose to approve the project, to add a condition of approval. There's a building code that requires a 5% of long-term bicycle parking equal to 5% of the parking spaces. So they have 43 parking spaces. They have 41 plus the 2 ADA spaces. That's 43. And so the applicant is required to provide 3 long-term bike parking spaces for their project. And so this requirement will be an additional condition of approval that wasn't in the staff report. And that's it for specific issues. We did a public outreach for the project. This is one of the first projects that utilized the 500 feet radius instead of the 300 feet. And throughout the public outreach area period, we received 2 comments. One was the comment from NVUSD, which I mentioned earlier, and the other one was a resident that was just not interested in paintball as a sport, and the applicant has responded to them directly. Yeah. The last thing is the staff's recommendation and how the project complies with CEQA. This project, because of the size and how it was existing before, complies with several exemptions. So it's an existing facility. It qualifies for the construction of small structures and minor alterations to land. And for staff's recommendation, staff recommends the approval of the project with that additional bicycle condition as a modification. That's all that I have for the project. I'll be here, and the applicant, Bob and Karen, are here as well. So save your questions until after their presentation. So, and this. Then, all right, there you go. It's all yours.
Good evening. My name is Karen Kasman, and this is my partner, Robert D'Elia. In paintball, let me get this. Okay. In paintball, my partner is known as Magic Carpet Bob. As 1991 world champion of paintball, founder of the world's largest paintball team, the San Francisco Hornets, and resident pro, master of ceremonies, and game master of Paintball Jungle, Bob is a living legend in the world of paintball. After returning from his 1991 competitive tour, Bob realized that he missed the good old-fashioned fun of going down to the woods with his boys and playing paintball. He decided to retire from professional competition and devote himself to the recreational side of the sport. His concept for Paintball Jungle was to provide a venue for paintball rooted in positive sportsmanship and family fun. He also founded the SF Hornets, a recreational team whose membership is based solely on good sportsmanship and being a positive role model for the sport. We are here today requesting approval of our use permit application for our business, Paintball Jungle. Oh, it wasn't there? Oh, well, it's okay. He was blowing a conch shell. Okay. Yeah, this is the right slide now. Oh, no, that's not, it's not changing. Uh-oh.
Let me see.
Did you see the picture of Bob when I was talking about him? Oh.
Gonna close it and just reopen it and
Okay.
see if that helps, sorry.
Hi, Glenn. Hi, Jake.
Okay, let's try
So
from there.
there is the world champion paintball player. And you remember what I was saying about him, so we won't go over that. But next slide, okay. We won't do that again. There he is blowing the conch. Now, Paintball Jungle provides outdoor recreation in a safe, well-supervised, positive, and friendly environment. We are open to the public every Saturday and Sunday, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. We also offer private group reservations, and we rent all the gear and sell the supplies necessary to play. Okay, let's see. There we go. We have 3 different offerings for different age groups: regular paintball for ages 10 and up, low impact paintball for ages 9 and up, and gel blaster for ages 8 and up. A day at Paintball Jungle is very structured and organized. After submitting a waiver and paying entry fees, every player receives a video safety orientation with a live intro and recap. There is constant surveillance throughout the day to ensure that all safety rules are followed. Scenario games are announced every 30 minutes. Players may join these ongoing games as they wish. Referees assign teams with red and green ribbons tied around the player's arm. Referees make sure to evenly match the teams with equal numbers of experienced and beginner players on each side, while keeping groups of friends or families together on the same team. Players who do not want to join the public scenarios may play private elimination matches among their own group in our 5 smaller supervised courts. There are no public scenarios for our low impact or gel blaster options. These options are by private reservation. There has been paintball in the Grove since before 1987. Having just discovered the sport that was his new passion through his then 16-year-old son, Bob was playing every weekend, Saturdays at Mount Diablo and Sundays at the Grove. When the person who ran the field at the Grove decided not to continue, Bob did not want to lose his Sunday games, so he made a deal with Sonny Couch to take over the rent himself and run the field with a couple of his teammates. In 1991, his teammates dropped out, and Bob took over what was becoming a budding business. As the land didn't fall within any city limits, we obtained a business license in Vallejo, where our corporate office is. In 1992, we applied for a conditional use permit with Napa County, which was granted for a 3-year period. In 1995, we applied for renewal, which was granted for a 10-year period. In June 2008, we again commenced the use permit application process with Napa County, hiring Jeffrey Redding as our consultant. In February 2009, our application was recommended for approval with no expiration. At the time, the Couch property was under litigation. Although Glenn Couch had signed our application, the record title owner was the lawyer Jim Nord, the trustee, who refused to sign our permit. At this impasse, and after all the expense, the county and Mr. Redding indicated to us that our 10-year permit should not have had an expiration, and they didn't do it like that anymore. Furthermore, they said that the land would be changing regarding American Canyon's sphere of influence and a proposed school. So they basically just sent us on our way with an unofficial nod. In 2011, after American Canyon's sphere of influence encompassed the Grove, we were contacted by the Planning Division to secure our business license. After meeting with several people from the city, our license was approved in August, and we have kept it in good standing since then. At that time, we were led to understand that this was all that was needed. In February 2019, we were contacted by the city to inform us that they would now require us to obtain a conditional use permit. To this end, we retained RSA Engineering. The school had not been built yet. In December 2019, the process encountered an impasse when we were not able to obtain a clear answer from the city or school district about access to our parking lot entrance. In 2020 and 2021, the pandemic happened and the school was built and opened. In August 2022, we resumed the process to submit our application. Community outreach. We have been good neighbors with Charlotte of Spirit Horse since she started, always remediating any of her concerns and helping her however we can. We have been in regular contact with the management of the wine warehouse and have addressed all their concerns to their satisfaction. We have been in contact with MVUSD since the school was being built and have cooperated fully in remediating any concerns and issues. We have always done our best to give back to the community by donating gifts to local fundraisers. Paintball Jungle is a field of honor where good sportsmanship is the required norm. Paintball Jungle provides a safe outdoor recreation facility where people of all ages, cultures, and walks of life can play and interact together in a positive and fun-filled social environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, before I go to commissioner comments, I will go ahead and open up public comment. First one I have here is Valerie.
Hello, everybody. I'm Valerie Zizek-Moraes, President CEO of the American Canyon Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Commissioners, for having me here tonight. As you know, we support business in American Canyon, and the Paintball Jungle is an actual favorite of our community. There is a lot of people who love to go out there and spend their weekends at the Paintball Jungle. They've been a chamber member of ours for 10 plus years. They support us, they support our community, and they give back in every way that they possibly can when asked. I also like that Karen has gone through all the details and processes of how they started their business, what permits they had to pull at that time based upon where we are today. So as you see, they've been operating in the Grove since 1987, and there has been no problems, no concerns, and no pushback against this project since they've been here. So I'm here to say today that there is no reason why we should not issue that permit to Karen and Bob at the Paintball Jungle, because we love their business, they love the recreation that they bring to American Canyon, and we believe they are a huge asset here in American Canyon. So thank you so much. Please take into consideration why it's important to support small business owners and people who have invested into American Canyon before we were a city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Valerie. Any other public comment in the room? Fran? We can hear you.
I'd just like to say that I think it's great to have this kind of an opportunity for the children, because I see children in the picture, and it's a good, clean, healthy sport. So being a neighbor, I approve of it.
Thank you, Fran.
Good evening, Jeremy Sill with RSA Plus. I'm actually part of the applicant team, but I wanted to take a minute just to kind of give you my experience. I did start working for Bob and Karen in 2019, and I got to know them a little bit over the last several years, as you can imagine. And you know, I really wish we had something like this in Napa. I'm from Napa, you know, and we talk about nothing for kids, and you know, I wish we had this. And the people that are behind it, Bob and Karen, they are exemplary in my opinion. I've worked with a lot of people, you know, and the hard part with Bob and Karen is they do things so fast, right? An issue comes up with the neighbor and they fix it like right away. It's like they're very attentive to every issue that came up. And I couldn't even jump in and help, right? And usually I'm used to doing that, but they had it fixed in like a day, right? So as they mentioned, when Spirit Horse comes up or when the school district came up, they're like, you know, we want to be good neighbors, right? So in my opinion, they are exemplary. It's a great activity. I think Napa County is lacking things to do. And this is a fantastic thing. I have a son who's now 12. When he was 9, we had a birthday party there, and had a great time. Right? It was. They do a really good job running the facility. Everything Karen said is exactly how they run it. You know, I think it's a great project.
Thank you. All right, I will go ahead and move on to Zoom. Nicole, do we have anyone?
We don't have anyone on Zoom, so no comment.
Perfect. I will go ahead and close public comment. Commissioners, questions, comments, thoughts? Yep. Yeah.
Well, as somebody that was actually at Paintball Jungle on Saturday, I can actually attest to the fact that pretty much everything that they said in the presentation was true. When I went with my friends who are troublemakers, they all understood the rules. The rules were made very clear to all of us, and we didn't see anybody breaking the rules, really. Everyone seemed really respectful of the rules. I really liked Bob. He was very clear with telling us exactly what we were allowed and what we weren't allowed to do. So as somebody who was a customer not even a week ago, I can attest to the fact that I really do like Paintball Jungle, and it is a really good opportunity for the youth in our community, and not just in our community, but in Napa County itself as well. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Youth Commissioner. Mr. Altman.
Sure. I'm going to pretty much echo our young man to my right here, our youth commissioner. I've been to Paintball Jungle with my older son on a few different occasions, and it's a blast. You know, getting out there, running around, and it's a variation on tag, basically. You're you know, trying to find a spot where the opponent can't get you, and you can hide out, and it's a ton of fun. They are really clear on instructions. The speaker that they have, you can hear in the immediate area, but I can't imagine that you're hearing it particularly, you know, in any of the residences, given you've got the school in between, you've got other things. I mean, and then we get to the fact that one of the things that I have repeatedly said, and you guys all know this, is that we need more attractions and more things to do for the youth, for the kids. Paintball is something that, heck, I'm an old guy. I can go out and have fun, and my kids who are 13 and 15 at this point, and they were younger a few years back when we first played, and, you know, I mean, it's great for the kids. It's something to do. It's outdoors, which is great. I'm going to throw a little bit of personal belief in here. I'm not saying this is medically verified, but I'm a believer that eyesight is impacted by how much distance viewing one does on a daily basis. And with youth glued to screens these days, getting outside and looking out, not only is it good for them in terms of the exercise and whatnot, I believe it's actually also good for their eyesight and may keep them away from the glasses a little bit longer than you know, it took me to get there. It's just, it's great. I have nothing but good things to say about the people who I've gotten to know, being there a few times a little bit. about the facilities, about how it's run. To me, this is just an absolute no-brainer. I'm fully in favor.
Thank you, Commissioner Altman. Commissioner Mohammed, any comments?
Yeah, so my daughter, when she was 8 years old, she's 29 now, went to a birthday party with a bunch of her guy classmates, and she said they were going paintball gunning or paintball shooting, and I freaked out. I was so scared. She came back. She had a blast. She had so much fun. Then after that, she went to a birthday party in Scandia, and she said that paintball was so much more fun than laser tag. So thank you so much for what you bring to the community.
And Commissioner Goff?
I have not been to your facility. I've been by it many times. Yeah. Well, if we can get Mr. Altman out there, I'll be happy to join him because, you know. No, my
Commissioner
only,
Goff, you're on. Name the date and time. You're a much bigger target than I am.
oh, there we go. Just two items on here that are really kind of components that were brought up, both as items. One was the noise item that was brought up, and which I think was addressed in there. I'm just curious, which direction do the speakers point? Do they point to the west? Do they point to the south? Right across the street at the warehouse, so most of the noise is just going directly towards there. Okay, thank you. That answers that question. And the other one really goes to not the weekend events, but the special events that you hold during the week when they're held. And again, I haven't been out to your area and identifying where the different activity courts may be. Is there one that is directly connected to or close to the school, or are they all away from?
Yeah, we're only open Saturday and Sunday to the public. And during the week, it's by reservation, which only happens a couple times a month at the most. But to address what you're concerned about is we don't use that court next to the school at all during the week.
So the average range on somebody who is discharging a paintball, how far can a paintball fly?
Well, it can go twice the length of this room, but also 12 feet high. You're shooting everybody at 6 foot height.
Yeah.
So that 12-foot net is more than adequate to catch anything. Okay. And those nets are heavy construction netting, same thing they use on high-rise building sites.
Okay, those are my only two things that I was just curious about. But there is courts that are away from the school that can be used during
definitely. Yeah, the whole facility is like that. There's only that one court that parallels the school.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
All right, that leaves me to me. Just two questions on staying with the special events. That I'm assuming the special events raise up to about 125 attendees potentially. Is that during only the weekdays?
Special events, as I said, we're open to the public on the weekends.
Yep. Thanks, Bob.
Better stay up here for a while.
Yeah, you probably, maybe.
Special events are weekday
Weekdays only.
reservations, which usually are only 20 to 30 people.
Okay.
Once in a while, a whole company will come out, but it's usually 20 or 30 people, you know. It's not like anything like the attendance on the weekend.
Okay. And my other question is, you're only open on the weekend, so rain or shine or?
Rain or shine.
Wow. That's amazing. I would not want to be out there in the rain,
Yeah.
but
We've never closed. The only time we closed was for, 2 months or so during COVID, when COVID first came. What was it? Yeah, it was 3 months. 3 months. But then we were determined to be safe for what we're doing outside.
Oh, perfect. Okay. That's my only questions.
Okay. Anybody else while I'm here?
Any other questions? All right. You may have a seat, Bob. Thank you. All right, commissioners, looking for a recommendation.
All righty. I will make a motion for a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of American Canyon, California, approving a conditional use permit for continued operation of an outdoor paintball facility on 14 acres at 2 Eucalyptus Drive in the Recreation and Outdoor Space Rec Zoning District, APN 058-030-066, file number PL 23-0018.
With additional
With the additional
approval.
approval of the bicycle parking spaces, the 3 additional spaces.
I second.
Ms. Nicole, roll call, please.
Yes. Commissioner Altman,
Aye.
Commissioner Goff,
Aye.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Aye.
Chair Malari.
Aye. Congratulations. Thank you. Karen, Bob, you guys are good. Thank you, guys. All right, well, moving on to the active planning projects. Director Cooper?
All right. Thank you, Chair Malari and Planning Commission. Also wanted to thank Edison for being here. He's our Public Works Department, and he was here to answer any of the engineering issues that would have come up with our conditional use permit. So I want to thank Edison Bisnar for being here. He's a great part of, he's not in community development, but he might as well be. I don't have too many updates for you on active projects. We have a couple that are fairly recent. I have a couple of minor, a minor modification for one of the SDG warehouses on Commerce Court. They have a tenant who has storage and wine production needs a little different than what was described in the project when it went through its conditional use permit. So it's a minor modification. This is a staff level approval. We're just making sure that the different technical issues are addressed with that. I'm not at liberty to say the tenant, but someday you'll hear, and it's kind of cool, but they're just doing ordinary stuff there. Nothing to get too excited about. We have a major modification for the chicken guy. They had a condition to underground overhead utilities, and like many of our applicants, they've gone and got pricing for it, and it's very expensive. And so Edison largely is working on that one and coming up with an alternate plan that will come back to the Planning Commission for your consideration. The Napa River Ecology Center was reviewed by the Open Space, the OSATS Commission, at the request of the City Council. It's one of the items on their fiscal year work plan. So they provided some input that we'll be presenting to the applicant. But we are looking at bringing this to the Planning Commission to your next meeting on the winter solstice, the 21st of December. Yeah, everything after the solstice is a brighter day.
Well, since it's, I'm assuming it's going to be a short meeting since it's the shortest day in terms of daylight on the year.
Well, that'll be up to the commission. The SDG 220, that's the third building and final one on the west side of Commerce Court. That one, William's working with the applicant on, and that one's going to be having an environmental impact report. So there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes for that one. Our other large project that has an environmental impact report, the residences at Napa Junction, they are working on drafting the EIR, but they're also looking at potentially redesigning the site. So they're working on a lot of things that we haven't had to really deal with right now. The only other updates I have for you are towards the back of the report with city-initiated projects. We got a letter from the state concerning our accessory dwelling unit ordinance. There have been further changes in state law. It's akin to the flu shot. You get new rules every fall. And so we'll need to be updating the ADU ordinance to comply with that. And let's see, we have our Paoli Watson Lane annexation. Of course, the Planning Commission reviewed that, and we've submitted, and the City Council has reviewed it and approved certified the environmental impact report, the general plan amendment, and the zoning first reading. And so, day before yesterday, I submitted the application to the Airport Land Use Commission. The general plan amendment and pre-zoning requires a determination from the Airport Land Use Commission for compliance with the Napa Airport Land Use Compatibility Plan. And on that subject, somewhere on here, the county is updating its land use airport compatibility plan, and I had a meeting today with them on that. There'll be a workshop open to the public on the plan on December 7th at 11:30 a.m. at the Napa County Board of Supervisors board meeting. So that's moving forward. This was the last meeting the county is holding for jurisdictional stakeholders like American Canyon and the City of Napa. So we'll have some comments on it. But there'll definitely be some changes that it's proposing from today's rules under the current land use plan. So that's my update. Glad to answer any questions you have. Oh, and in case you're wondering, at some point, I'm sure I will agendize what it is they plan to do with the plan, so that you are informed.
Thank you, Director Cooper. Any commissioner items?
Just wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. It's coming up in a real hurry.
And I think with that, I also have brought some pumpkin spice to celebrate. Actually, so if there isn't anything else, I will adjourn the meeting. 7:16.
Good night, American Canyon.
Set the land speed record.
I think we had one